Hey, everybody. Hi out there in internet land. It's Drinks with DPEG time. So I'm Laura Lavoie, and I'm here with Teona Rodriguez, and we are DPEG Marketing. So hi. And
Everyone.
I realized I didn't open my drink. We were chatting before the show, and I didn't even bother pouring myself a drink. So let me do that real quick. So, we're doing this thing now where we go live on the internet once a month or so and just talk about what we've been doing for the month. So how have you been, Teona?
Really well. February went by way too fast. When I woke up this morning and it was March the 1st, I was, not ready. Not even close, but it is what it is. So,
right.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Here we are.
You know, but February was a pretty good month for us. And, we did some cool things. We've got some cool things coming up. So I'm excited about that. And I do want to remind anybody, if you are watching this live, feel free to comment. If you make comments below, we can see them and we can even talk about them. So we can sort of have you on the show. It's like having a call-in show, except it's not a call-in show.
Exactly.
So let's see. Where do we start the month? I think our first blog, I have visual aids. I don't have to guess what we did. I know what we did. So our first blog post of the month was when should you reinvent the wheel? So it was innovation and specifically for equine websites. Yes. We talked a little bit about, and this is a subject I know you talk about a lot. Mm-hmm. You know, why do you need to redo your website? Why do you need to create something new when you already have something going on? And I think one of the biggest problems is that we see business card websites, that just don't do anything. So I know you have thoughts on this, Teona, so tell us a little bit more.
Yeah. So I always start with, one, if you're just having a digital business card as your website, I mean, it's very obvious. And, if you go back, I don't know, 10, 15 years, I mean, that truly was the thing. You just wanted to go ahead and have your name out there so that way Google can find you. But it is just not, it just doesn't cut it anymore. So if you just have a one pager with not even the minimum amount of words, which we all know Teona likes 300 or more.
300 words.
300 words. And, but usually when I start out a consultation I just ask them, is it revenue generating? And that really just starts the conversation. The answer is, yes, it is. And, but I want more. Or 2, no, it's not. And then that leads into a much deeper conversation as to what is it? What do you sell that can be marketed in your call to action? Like, what do you want people to do? Do you want them to subscribe to your blog? Do you want them to buy an actual product? Do you want them just to schedule a free consultation? All of these items will then lead to a revenue generating website. And really, if a website is done correctly, it could actually not replace, it could actually create a new position in your office as far as, someone, if you have a website and they're able to schedule their appointments on the website, well, that is a position. You now have a scheduler, but it is now through your website. If your website is an e-commerce site where you're actually able to collect money, well, that is a position in the office management setting, and so on. So there's lots of ways to really look much deeper into your website, more than it just being a phone number and an email address.
Exactly. So definitely check out that blog. It's the beginning part of February, and it's on dpegmarketing.com. And, we talked about some other things in that blog about, your website simply not working for you. It's not interactive. It's not responsive. So, working with us or anyone like us that can make it easier to use, reduce clutter, and meet current compliance guidelines. Those are all things that are necessary.
Yes, so that is a huge one, just the compliance, making sure that all of your compliance is up to date. And one other thing that I just wanted to mention, especially with equine, since we do work in that world, the equine will ebb and flow depending on what line of business you're in. And so if you're into breeding, maybe right now is your prime time for that type of that type of business. And so you want to go ahead and maybe make that your landing page, or create landing pages for every single revenue stream that you have. And that way, if someone is looking for pin hooking or, different things like that, we could actually make it where they will land on that particular page. Your homepage is truly an introduction to your business. It's all the individual pages that actually is where we want to send people to. So,
right.
Yes.
Right. So, and of course, we just love to make websites. So equine businesses, tiny home businesses, outdoor businesses, anything like that. We would love to talk with you more if that's what you're looking for. So then that brings us to further down the line in February, where we celebrated a little Valentine's Day. We don't have to talk about this much, but you can definitely read about it on dpegmarketing.com. But actually, the entire post, I've been writing for a tiny house magazine for years, and I needed content. So I just pulled that old post and repurposed it and put it on here. But what it is an illustration of the kind of content you can have. Say you're a tiny house builder, you want content from somebody who's an expert. And as it turns out, I am a little bit. So, you just have me in your back pocket if you work with us. Like, you don't even have to pay extra. I'm part of the deal.
And you're more than just a little bit of an expert, but yeah.
Well, for anyone who doesn't know, I did, my partner and I built a tiny house by ourselves on a mountain here in Western North Carolina. So whole blog about it, written books about it. So, and it was an incredible experience, and I'd like to share that story, but I also want to be able to tell your story. So that blog post was very much my story, but I can work with any business to tell their story. And that's what I love to do. And that's why I do it.
Yeah.
So, but then we got into something pretty heavy and pretty topical for this right now. I mean, literally on the headlines, right? Everybody's talking about ChatGPT. What is it? Do you need it? And are robots taking my job? Because that is the question. So if you don't know what ChatGPT is, it's an OpenAI chatbot, basically. You just open it up, you type in your question, and it will spit out a completely, almost like blog post style answer. And here's the problem with that, is that some people are copying and pasting those things verbatim as a blog post, which has a few issues. Number one, a lack of human element. A computer can tell you how to bake bread, but it's never baked bread. So it doesn't give you that experience. You don't know, what it is, why it does it. And then there are technical issues, triggers plagiarism problems, any sort of ChatGPT generated content. It is a lot of fun though. Like I've used it to create cocktail recipes. It's a lot of fun. But one thing I wanted to bring up with you, Teona, specifically, is I think we have to keep an eye out for this, as far as with marketing, with DPEG specifically, is one of the biggest threats and one of the biggest challenges with ChatGPT, what it could turn into. It's going to affect search engines and search engine optimization.
Yes. Because
people aren't necessarily going to go to Google for their questions now. They're going to go to ChatGPT, and it's going to tell them how to do the thing. So it's not generating that SEO that we need and that our clients need. So right now it's a process. It's not going to happen overnight, but, kind of figure out how to navigate that.
Yes, I mean, I really think we are definitely in the beginning of this new thinking as far as content is it goes, and I know that there will be a way that we will be able to optimize on this at a later date. I still haven't, I'm just every day there's something new that's being said about it. But in the meantime, the as much as I love Google, we know I do, but even Google, I'm really waiting for Google to like really dive in deep with this, because they will be able to really set the standard as far as how we can go ahead and optimize this, for our clients, for ourselves, that type of thing. So I'm actually excited to see where it goes further. But as far as, you just going ahead and putting in a question and it popping out, 150 words, I mean, it's just not good. I mean, it's not for website design, not for website development, not for content that you're putting on your website. Laura and I were talking prior, and this concept of talking into into an app and it giving you words, I mean, it's been around for a very long time, and there are some modalities where it is actually used correctly, but the people that I know, other writers that use it, the one in particular I'm thinking about, she does historical family stories. And
Right.
so she provides them with an app where they can talk into the app, because we're talking to grandparents or great grandparents, and then that app will then go ahead and send the dictation over to her, which then as a writer she will go ahead and write it to make it personalized and to actually tell a story.
Right.
So what I just explained and what this is are two totally different things. But even in something that has been around a much longer time, the talk to text is still being manipulated by writers, because even that talk to text isn't, I mean, it's just not perfected. And I just
Right.
don't, yeah.
Right. Absolutely. And that's, yeah, the most important thing, and the thing that we try to drive home for everybody, is it's about storytelling.
Yes.
And a computer, talk to text, you can get a story, but you still have to edit it, because, writing and speaking are two different things.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to create content for your website, and it's just, well, I did actually, I put, and you can read about it on the blog, or we can read it on the blog. In this article I had asked ChatGPT to write a bio for me. And I gave it my name, where I'm from, and that I have a cat, and it spit out 150 words. And it's not inaccurate, but it doesn't have any details. Like, it doesn't really say who I am. Yes. I did tell it I was a writer. So it's, I'm a writer that writes things and blah, blah, blah. And, on the surface, it doesn't look terrible, but, functionally, it's not a good bio. Yeah. People are using that to write things. Yes. You just can't stick with it.
No. And then, something, and I know I already kind of honed in on this, but just to say it for the people in the back, SEO, that 150 words, if you sent me that 150 words and you're like, Teona, I want to use this as my bio on the website, I will get, well, one, it's not enough words. And two, there's no way that they SEO'd that content correctly where I could actually use it for anything. Google is, they're no joke. I mean, they know if because I get daily, hourly reports of our rankings for our keywords, for not only us, but for our clients. And, and I know we in one day, it's like, we could be up, we could be down, we could be, doing great. And then the next day, somebody posts a blog post about the same keyword that I was, one of our, a competitor posts a blog post about something that I was trying to rank for, and we drop down 2 points. So Google is indexing content. I mean, and if people think that it's not like for real, it's for real. If you are analyzing your website to the word, to the keyword, you will see you ebb and flow. And so if I just went ahead and took that 150 words and put it on the website, it would serve us no purpose. It's just, I might as well put a picture of your face. I would probably get better.
You would get better ranking from that. Absolutely.
So don't think that you can get around. This isn't a shortcut. It's just not yet.
And Google, Google's algorithms are pretty smart for being their own AI. That it recognizes chat or AI driven content, and it does not.
No,
it gets ranked well below actually created content. And part of that's because, like I said, you can ask a computer how to bake bread, but it's never baked bread. Just by the tone and the voice and everything when something is written by a person versus AI. And it recognizes those markers, and it doesn't rank them as well.
Yes. All very, very true. So, I would love to go ahead and in 6 months, have another blog about this and see if there's any new developments. But I think we're well away from, it taking our jobs.
Yes, for sure. Exactly. Nothing.
I think me and you will be retired.
Yes. Oh yeah. At this, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I think that's when I used to work in recruiting, right? And recruiting software started coming out and all of these things that people are like, oh no, we're not going to need recruiters anymore. But there will always be a function within any sort of human-driven industry that requires that human. Like we still have to be there to facilitate. Maybe we'll use more tools, more tech and even AI, but a human has to interpret it and a human has to do the thing, or else it's not going to get done in the way any other human will understand. So until the machines totally take over all of society, I think we're safe.
Yes, I think
for now.
I agree. For now.
And then yesterday was the last day of February. But our last blog post of the month, which I loved, because we've been talking about this one for a while, what to do if you need to break up with your current web developer. And the reason we wanted to write about this, and it's a chunky blog post, folks, so go in and read the whole thing because it's got a lot of information. Of course, you can get it at dpegmarketing.com. But we talk about it all the time because we have clients come to us that say that their current web developer is also their web host, owns all their passwords, owns all their accounts, and they want to change. And what do? And they feel stuck. So, we never own your website. We never do anything like that. So Teona, I want you to talk a little bit on kind of our process and why we don't do that.
Yes. So that was something that I knew a long time ago that it never interested me. And it just was something that I just knew that I just couldn't, I never felt right about it. Mm-hmm. And it was probably because of all the experiences of having to work with clients that didn't own everything on their website and just seeing their struggle. And I was just like, I just never want to be that company. And so, and there are so many great hosting companies out there. I mean, as it says in the blog post, we do, um, uh, always refer to GoDaddy. We are not
Mhm.
partners. We get no kickbacks. We are not any way affiliated. However, I do like GoDaddy just because I feel that for our particular clientele, it is still affordable, and
Right.
and they work with a WordPress platform. And I like GoDaddy's security because we did talk about backups. I like the idea that at any point, whether something is just not right with the website, or something that I didn't do a timely update, or which doesn't happen, but let's just pretend. Um, Virgo in me would never let that happen. But
Right.
I like the fact that, I can go onto the GoDaddy website. I can, reinstall the website as it looked, yesterday at 6 p.m. You know,
Exactly.
um, so all of their hosting there is affordable. Their security, I think, is for the price. I think it's excellent. And I also like the fact that you can house your URL and your hosting and your security with one company. I feel that you also brought up another item, is the photos. I mean, that was great that you put that in there, because one, we don't like to use stock photos, and if we do, we make sure that the copyright does include the client, but
Hmm.
it's rare that we use them. We always try to get our photographer out there to go ahead and take photos on his or her own. And but that's also another thing, is that just because, the website might transfer over to a different hosting company, or that those copyrights does not follow the website, it will stay with that particular person. So that
Right.
was a really good item that you brought up in the blog post. Of course, the passwords, and you should have all of that anyways. But another thing, which I obviously don't do a good job in talking about this, but this is also something that we do. And again, it's just second nature, is that plugins and, and any themes or anything like that, I always make sure that the client is the owner of these items. And so if for whatever reason we do part ways, their website isn't going to go down, you know,
Right.
or if they sell their company, it isn't like they could actually sell the website as is. It isn't that, once it gets transferred, that all of a sudden I'm going to take back my theme, and I'm going to take back all these plugins, and I'm going to leave you with nothing. So, to
Exactly.
Michelle. So, my biggest advice, just because, and I'm waiting to have a good experience. But my biggest advice is, if there is any way, I always will email and call the current hosting or designer developer, and ask them if we could have a meeting, and
Right.
just, can we just talk this through, and can you tell me about, and it's just like, it's very, and it's because, and I understand that that wasn't exactly true. I've had it happen to me, where I've had now it got, the change of hands went to a family member. So of course I was very, not my family, the client's family member
Right.
opened up their own company. And the conversation that I had with him about how to transfer everything over and where everything was housed, and just making sure that I even went ahead and created, a logon and password for him. So that way, when we did our meeting, he was able to log in and did a screen share, and I was able to show him, you know, our preferred theme is Divi, and it was such a good transfer of services. It was such a good experience that even the clients, recognize that. And so being on that end, I know. And if I owned the hosting, if I owned the URLs, and if I owned, all of these things, it wouldn't be such a smooth process.
Right. And to be fair, it makes we're not a good steward of our clients' money and time and resources by doing that.
Yeah.
Even though it might feel like, oh, they're our point of contact, they're doing everything. Things change for a variety of reasons. And while we want to be your web designer and marketing partner for literally ever, for any reason, that might change. And if we've put you in that position where you have to fight to get ownership of your own website and your own URL and all of that, that's not fair to you as a business owner. No. So we will never do that.
Never. And just to, I know I'm like, I can just talk about this all day, but and I think I told you, Laura, I was on the phone. I was working, and it's an e-commerce client, and I was trying to, based upon that particular client's needs, I was kind of torn between two different packages. So I called GoDaddy, and I was just and I have some questions about this and this, and these are the different plugins that we're going to be running. Do you think I should? It's not to get all, but and he says like, so he's like, so something like, what is your account, or what is your, and I was like, no, I don't, it's not for me, it's for bringing on board, and I go ahead and put it under your account. And then I understood what he was saying, and I was like, no, I'm not an affiliate. I'm just I'm just calling ahead, so that way when I have the consultation with the client, but she is the one that is going to be calling in and signing up. I just want to direct her, make sure that I'm directing her in the right area. And he's like, oh, so you're not an affiliate. You have a hosting package. And I was like, no. He's like, oh, you're one of the good ones. And I was just like, yes.
Right, exactly.
I was like, yes. I was like, yes, we are one of the good ones. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do, but she will call in and sign up, not me. So so yes, that's my little story with that.
Perfect. Yeah. All right. We are getting close to 30 minutes, and we don't want to take up everybody's time on the internet, although people can come back and watch this anytime they want to. And of course, we'll do it again in the future. But Teona, I wanted to mention, I see you there. You appear to be in an RV, if I can see that correctly. Yes. So what are you up to in March?
So of course the RV is for fun and for love and for, all the things that make my heart go, happy. But we actually use the RV for work. So as you are, as we've talked about, our clients are, a handful of them are equine. So we do like to travel down to Ocala, Florida, and be able to actually spend time on the premises. So that way, especially during sales, and there's a multitude of reasons why that is just so important that we do that face-to-face touch. We try twice a year at least. And so in March, I'm actually going to Austin, and then in April, I'll be in Ocala. And the reason why the RV is just so much easier than hotels is that for me personally, you know, I'm pretty finicky with my diet and blah blah blah. So there's the whole cooking thing, and anybody that has worked with me knows that my hours are not. I am not like an 8 to 5er. I'm more like a 4 to, you know. I mean, this morning I was up working at 3. So nobody wants me like to be bunking with me, you know. And I'm up at like 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, I'm on my laptop. So the RV brings that, but something that I wanted to say, and I know I'm over time, but we are starting we have to find Laura and I are working on a catchy name, but it's going to be stories of our travels, but it is going to be me, my Doberman, and the RV is Lance. So it's just going to be stories about us traveling the country and what it's like to travel in an RV with an 80-pound Doberman. So
Exactly. Exactly. So
yes.
definitely stay tuned for that. We're working on what the feature will be called and all of that fun stuff,
Yes.
but short fun videos,
Yes.
you know, that sort of thing. So you can get sort of a behind the scenes look at what happens at DPEG marketing. So
yeah, and then, you know, a bonus just for you is that because I'll go either live or I'll do recordings at every stop. So since I am, you know, since I'm driving solo, you know, I only drive 300 miles a day because, you know, that's enough for me. And so with that said, between here and Texas, I'm making several stops.
right.
And so I will go ahead and let you know where I am and let you know my thoughts and if they're dog friendly. And of course they will be, or I wouldn't book it. But, you know, like what the dog park is like and, you know, and how easy is it to get in and out and, you know, pulling an RV and parking and setting up and doing everything by yourself, you know, I'll just let you know how it goes. So
Exactly.
I'm super excited.
Exactly. Well, I am excited too. And I am not traveling with you in the RV to Ocala in April, but I will definitely be there to see it. And we will be in the same place at the same time then, even though we are now too, because we live in the same place. But we'll be in the same place at the same time for that thoroughbred experience in Ocala.
Yes.
So so I think that's it for us for what we were doing in February, and we're going to be doing a bunch of stuff in March too, including that your big journey and the new feature, and go from there. And so I guess we will see you all next month.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
All right.
We'll talk to you.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.